One of the most important things when honing your skills, getting used to live bait fishing is the choice of gear, picking out the right outfit. Very, very important. When you're talking about presenting, say, a sardine to albacore, bluefin up to 50 pounds, you're talking 20, 30, 40 pound gear. Very important to have a nice lightweight reel, very smooth operation, a good casting outfit. Lightweight I like, so you can get the nice cast. One of the best reels on the market, in my opinion, is the Trinidad put out by Shimano. They put out a very nice line of reels that are perfect in anywhere from 20 pound on up to your 40, 50 pound live bait type presentation gear. Another good lightweight outfit that casts well is a Newell reel. Okay, again, do your research, check it out. Again, you're looking for something nice, lightweight, that gets a good cast out there. A nice, you flick that spool, it should revolve for a good 5-10 seconds. Again, you can't go wrong with any Trinidad's, Newell, but again, there's a lot of great reels in the market. A little more important, we get up into our rods now. Okay, we're talking, in my opinion, when you're using 20 to 50 pound live bait gear, it's a very refined outfit. You can't use a jig casting outfit. In other words, a 7-foot stiff-tipped rod is not going to work well to present a bait on, say, 30 to 50 pound lines. So keep that in mind. Want to stay up there even towards 7 foot, even 8 foot I like when we're using lighter lines and fishing for fish that aren't over 50 pounds. I like that little extra length, that 8-foot rod for the live bait presentation for the castability. Okay, with 8-foot rod, hey, I'm getting that bait that much further out there, which is often the key to getting the bite, especially in a scratch bite. So keep that in mind. Live bait, light gear, 30 to 50 pound, I like to go to a 7 to 8 foot rod. Again, got our outfit picked out, then we're going to our line. Again, we're live bait fishing. Typically we're fishing in San Diego, we're fishing a nicer fish, a fish up to 50 pounds, so line is very important. For castability, line is very important. You break out for your outfit out of the garage and you've had line that's been on there for 6 months, it's very stiff, it's coiled, it's not going to cast well, it's not going to fall off the reel, in other words. So nice, fresh line is going to help the castability of your light bait gear. Now we're going to go to the bait tank. To me, one of the key points of live bait fishing is right here. Mastering this, getting comfortable with keeping the rod in the crook of your arm. You can go right over to the bait tank. Rod, everything takes care of itself. You reach down. You just pick that bait out of there, nice and gentle. He went down the hole.
Is there anything particular you're looking for in the bait, Randy?
Yeah. When you're on a long range trip, generally it's a cured bait. And so, like you look in here right now, there's not a bad bait in there. Okay, it takes that whole equation out of it. Every bait in here is a good bait. I'm simply trying to catch any of them. Now, sometimes you'll get on a trip where the bait, say, has been scarce and we're limited in the amount we can take. Middle of summer, this is often the case when all the boats are running. Or 2/3 of them are, say, red and red-sided, red-nosed, even dry. You're trying to avoid those, obviously, and when you do get a situation where you have to pick your bait, you're looking for a nice uniform light green color. It's typically the good way to go. One that's hard to catch is obviously going to be a good one, but on most long range trips, you can pretty much catch any bait out of there, like that one there, and he's a beauty. Okay, so I got him in the hand well, and this is where this comes into play. I got the rod comfortably in the crook of my arm. Okay, I don't have to waste time picking it up off the bait tank or anything else. I got the hook in my hand. It's already ready to go. I pick up that bait, and this is one style. I'm just going to nose hook this one crossways to the nose. Okay, and then I'm ready. If you watch, I'll go to the rail. That bait's already at the perfect distance to make a cast, and I'm going to underhand this one, and I'm fishing.
Just like that.
By having it in the crook of my arm, that whole process went that much quicker. It took me seconds, literally. And if I got fish boiling right in the corner right here, and there's a lot of guys around, it's a crowded stern, the underhand, I like to use this finger, get the line right in that crook. You're actually using your finger to snap the line to get the spool revolving. You make an overhand cast, the rod gets your spool revolving to make the cast. So doing an underhand, you got to simulate that overhand by using your finger to get the spool revolving. So you time it, you go one, bring it in, and right here you snap the spool like that, and you make your cast. And this comes into play a lot more with heavier gear. Heavier gear obviously harder to cast, so the underhand can really come into play as you get into heavier outfits and get a nice gentle cast. Another thing that's good with the other hand is your bait is not up here. It's literally a foot off the water, so you're not smacking the water with an overhand. You see what I'm saying? It's just right on the surface, a nice gentle approach, hits the water. That bait is in perfect shape when it hits the water. I personally recommend going to a nose hook when it's scratch fishing. We do a lot of drift fishing to where your line's getting up off the windy side. A lot of times we're on the anchor where there's a lot of current pulling back, just like right here. Perfect example, the current's pulling you back, so no matter where you cast, your line's going to get pulled back there. So if it's scratchy, slow fishing with a lot of current, I like that crossface to the nose just simply because you can soak your bait a lot longer. When it's fast fishing, there's fish boiling on the corner, you're trying to get a bait that swims a little better, I'll always butt hook it. So 80% of the time I'm butt hooking the bait. When it's scratch fishing, that means I'm not fishing anyway, and so I'm not nose hooking. But you grab your bait nice and gentle, bring it over here. I like to hook it just forward the anus right there. Okay, real sweet spot. If you go a little too high, you'll make them bleed. If you go a little too low, it's gonna rip off when you make the cast. And again, because you're butt hooking the bait, they're going to come off easier. I like the underhand cast once again, especially if you're first starting out. We'll do this again.
So you're really ripping that line off the reel.
Yeah, you're snapping the reel.
As the pendulum swings out.
Exactly. As the pendulum swings out, and as you get more and more comfortable with it, the harder you can snap. And you just keep practicing. This is another thing like Frank mentioned earlier, practice. You can practice this at home. Get up on an elevated surface like you're on a boat and practice this. Put about a 2-ounce weight on there. Again, the pendulum, and snap it. Again, that's one thing with the butt hook method, the advantage, the bait swims a heck of a lot better. Okay, you give it just a little tug, and what does it do? It pulls the tail towards you, so the only thing the bait can do is swim away from you. So excellent way to hook the bait to get it to swim well. So if you got fish boiling around, you give it one little pop, he swims, and boom, typically you're bit right away. So that's the big advantage to hooking the bait that way. Only disadvantage, like I said, is the bait will come off a lot easier on the cast. So that's why I do like an underhand cast for a butt hook bait.